Hi everybody, welcome to my women's health webinar. I'm Elaine and this is my dad and he's not a woman. He's here today because I have a machine that I want to share with you that's coming soon on our website, and it's really different than anything that we currently carry. And it was something that when we first started discussing this, I was kind of I would say indifferent to. It really wasn't something that I thought we needed in our line of machines. And then he convinced me because he's the boss. And so I started using this about a week ago, and it's awesome.
It's amazing.
I called him the next day and was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how wonderful this machine is. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. If you also have any questions about MagnaWave, PEMF, any of our other machines, or any health topics that I've talked about before, I'd be happy to answer those anytime. You can also email me or call me in the office. My information will be posted on the comments later. But okay, so this is my dad, Pat Zemer. I think I already said that. But Dad, tell us what this machine is.
This is the NeuroWave B2.
B2.
B2 meaning brain and body.
Okay.
And basically, it's there to provide, and I'll use the term frequencies for rest, frequencies for mental stimulation, frequencies for deep meditation, that type of thing. And what it is, it's magnetic fields. It's putting off magnetic fields, and it's at a specific cadence. So a frequency is when they get between 3 and 5 or 4 and 5 frequency, for example, that's a particular wave design. And then it can go up to where you're between 12 and 15 hertz.
Okay,
right.
So these specific numbers can do specific things, and they've studied this to show that this does stuff on the brain.
Correct. There's plenty of studies that talk about how delta and theta and alpha, beta, and gamma have effects on the brain and on learning or entrainment, if you will. And so what's been happening, one of our engineers that we work with goes to Germany each year, which is where a lot of this technology has come from. And they've been doing things like this for relaxation, for sleep, specific areas. And then there are studies out there that talk about using specific frequencies or hertz or those types of things. So we've developed a device that will enhance those types of signals in your brain. And so to make a correlation, the high power machines we sell and that we use for athletes and people who are in pain and all that kind of stuff provide a very quick response. They are instantaneous in their ability to relieve pain and take away inflammation. These devices are somewhat slower.
Right.
But when it comes to relaxation, they're very beneficial to that. So there is a difference there, and that a lot of people talk about. And certainly there's machines on the market like the IRMS 2000 and the Beamer device and so on and so forth that also provide relaxation, but they're very low powered when it comes to Gauss, and we'll talk about that here in a second.
So let me talk a little bit about why I think our machines are very synonymous with immediate pain relief, and all of them are high power, and you can feel them immediately for when you're treating yourself. This machine, why I was a little just kind of taken back is because you can't really feel it the same way. It is definitely something that you can hear it. And I was like, well, I think, people may not understand that this isn't going to do the same thing. But what it does do is something that I don't think I realized was so important, because it just relaxes you in a way that a lot of times when I'm using our bigger machines, I'm on my cell phone or I'm doing this or I'm thinking about a million things, because I'm a woman and I'm a mom and I got 100 things going on. They say don't walk a mile in my shoes, spend 30 minutes in my brain. I mean, you will, you have so many things planning and thinking. Sometimes at night for me especially, it's really hard to turn that off. And I thought everybody took that long to fall asleep, or that it was, it's just something that I didn't sleep as deep. And whenever I put this under my pillow, it was incredible. Like, I slept through the night in a way that I have not slept. Now, it was only 4 hours because I have a newborn baby, so that's through the night for me. But it was incredible. The sleep was so much more relaxing. So I've used this, and then I went and I treated my body with our Maya machine, which really helped me feel like it with some of the stress of every day. But this stayed under my pillow all night. So the real test was Joe, my husband. You know, he loves the bigger machines, and I slipped this underneath the sheet and put his pillow on top of it and turned it on, and he slept all the way through the night, and he tosses and turns and wakes up every time I'm getting up with the baby. He wakes up, and he slept like a rock, and the next day he was like, I love that machine. So we have to, the only thing is you need two if you have a spouse. We might do a package or something, because then we're going to fight over it. But it's really awesome if you're looking for a way to relax, a way to sleep, and maybe you're taking sleep medication now, and you're like, I'm taking medication every single night. This is worth a try, because you can get off that medication and do the sleep. And then this morning, there's an active setting, the beta and the gamma, which I put that on. I'm always active, but I put that on, and it really did kind of help in the wake up process.
Sure.
And
sure.
that's awesome.
So let me explain a little bit about the different settings.
Okay.
I don't know if you can see it. We got the camera, but it has delta, theta, alpha, beta, and gamma. And I'm going to operate each one so you'll be able to hear the difference.
Okay.
Now, the delta is for deep sleep. Okay, and to take you into a deeper pattern of sleep. And I'm going to turn it on, and you'll hear it. Now, you don't hear it normally because we have this little apparatus so you can know that something is working and hear what it's doing. And it's up here. You can't hear this probably at all, but so it'll pass right through a pillow. But this is what the delta sounds like, or the cadence that's being delivered with the PEMF signal to create a delta. It's at I believe it's a 4 to 5 hertz is where it is at for the signal that's being delivered. Now, if I take it and move it to the theta, you'll notice it's different. It's a different cadence. And the theta is basically a state of relaxation, dreaming,
yes,
that type of thing.
And you have two attachments here.
Correct.
So it comes with this paddle, and they run at the same time on this machine.
Right. So they're both working at this point, the mat and the paddle. But so the delta is for sleep. Theta is for a relaxed state, and for many people that helps them sleep as well.
Yes.
For example, I sleep better in the delta. If I go to the theta, I get to thinking
Me
more.
too.
And so
we have the same brain.
There you go. But so that's the delta and the theta. Now, it is possible. Some people would have it going both, doing both at the same time, cycling through delta and theta. And sometimes that's very appropriate for every person.
I think that's what I did with Joe.
Put it this
on
sweeping.
That one.
Okay.
And it runs for 8 hours.
Yes.
So while you're sleeping, it's on all night. But that is super depressing if you don't get 8 hours of sleep, because you really realize how long you don't. Because I keep getting up in the middle of the night, and I'm like, oh, it's still running. This is when I get up in the morning. I'm like, I did not get 8 hours.
and it beeps when it goes off, so it's almost like an alarm clock.
Yeah.
But at any rate, so the delta and the theta run for 8 hours. Now, that doesn't mean you have to run it for 8 hours.
No.
You can put it on and get in a delta state, and if you want to relax a little bit, you're really stressed and you want to get into a relaxation state, put it on delta, lay on it or sit on it, whatever you want to do, for 15 to 20 minutes, and it'll just help you relax, put you in a more relaxed state. Now, the alpha is for more of a get up and go kind of thing. This gets what I do is I'll sleep with the delta. When I wake up in the morning and I'm just going to rest for a few minutes in bed, I'll put it on alpha, and just like you said, it's going to start moving you psychologically,
yes,
and in your brain area or brain trainment to kind of get you picked up a little bit.
Yes.
And so that's where the alpha would be. So when I put the alpha on, it's just more of a standard straight beat. Now, at the same time that this is going on, we have the low subtle energy, the Schumann type of area of PEMF. So let me turn the alpha off and just put the PEMF on. Now, there is a difference. You're going to notice when I put the alpha on with it, the sound will change a little bit. So now it's doing both of them at the same time. The
I didn't know it did that.
The PEMF and the alpha wave for the get up and go type of situation.
That's so cool.
Okay, so now it's doing both of them, and it'll run for 30 minutes. So I'll take that off. So
how much Gauss does this machine have?
The machine puts out an average of 500 Gauss.
Okay.
On the settings. The gamma is at about 350 Gauss.
Okay.
When the gamma is being delivered, but the beta, the alpha, the theta, and the delta are all in the 500 Gauss range.
And can you tell me a little bit about like the lower power, like Imers units, or you mentioned before, where are they?
A lot of the low power units operate at they call it micro Tesla, or they'll operate at I don't know what it is, a high number of micro Tesla that actually correlates to about 35 Gauss.
Okay, so this is about 10 times?
I'd say 10 to 14 times more Gauss and stronger than what you get with some of the lower powered devices.
Okay.
So from a pain relief standpoint, it can certainly help support that.
Yes.
Would I want to use this if I went out and strained my back and come get on this to get immediate pain relief?
No.
It's not going to really give me immediate pain
But
relief.
let's say you are getting regular treatments from like one of our practitioners with a high power machine, and you're looking for something to help in between sessions at home. This is awesome because you're going to be able to sleep. You can put the low power PMF on, very similar to those other machines, and you get a huge variation with that energy and the sleep. And I mean, every mom needs energy.
There you go. So that's the Gauss delivery of this device, for conversation's sake, is 500 Gauss, which is sufficient. I mean,
yes.
it will help. Now I'm going to do the beta so you can hear what the beta sounds like.
Sounds like popcorn.
Sounds like popcorn. Now, the beta is more of a get up and go.
Okay.
All right. You're in a situation that you're concentrating on something at work, and you want to make sure that you're on your game. You go to the beta.
Okay.
You jump into the beta, and it'll just keep you going. You need some more energy in that type of situation. And then the gamma, I'm going to move from beta to gamma.
Wow.
Okay. Now, in the United States, a lot of people don't talk about gamma too much because it's more of a, they talk about monks getting into a state of gamma when they meditate and they do things. And they talk about you have to have a particular type of mental capacity to deal with a gamma. In Europe, they use it a lot.
Okay.
And that's where a lot of this technology comes from. And the gamma is, I want to get into a very deep state of concentration. I'm really into something. I want to make sure I want to meditate. I want to go into that type of realm of my mental capacity. And so that's where the gamma would come in. And it runs for 30 minutes. Do you have to use it for 30 minutes? No.
Okay.
And I have tested these when I'm working. If it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon and I still got something I want to do, I'll put this on gamma, or I'll sweep between beta and gamma for a few minutes. And it does. It just kind of makes you
feel better.
It gets you back on task.
Yes.
Okay, so again, what I'll do is I'll run through each one so you can hear the difference as it goes. So here is delta, deep sleep. We're going to move it to theta.
Okay.
Okay, we'll go to alpha. Now, it sounds different than theta, and it's not doing the same cadence. Doesn't have to do the same cadence. It's doing the cadence for get up and go.
Yeah.
And then we're going to move to beta. And then we'll move to gamma.
So if you're like me and you're using this to sleep at night, so what I found was really awesome is that when I get up with the baby at night and then I do everything and I'm changing her diaper and then I get her back to bed, sometimes it's hard to turn your brain off.
Exactly.
You wake up so much in the middle of the night, then by the time I fall back asleep, she's up another hour and a half later. So what I found that's really cool is that was gone. Like my head hit the pillow after putting her back to bed, I went right back to sleep. So those two, that's where I would be with the delta and theta. And then when I was getting up in the morning, the alpha would be coming out of that.
Correct.
Okay, and then the beta and the gamma would be during the day in the office when I'm hitting that 2 o'clock slump.
2 o'clock slump, or you just want to get in, you want to get deep in your concentration, that type of thing.
So this is a really great personal home machine. So if you're thinking about getting a lower power machine, this is something to really consider because you get the low power PMF, you get all these different frequencies and all these different benefits, but then you could still supplement from your practitioner.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's awesome. So if anybody has any questions, I am not just looking on Facebook. I am answering them. So if you want to ask any questions about this machine or any of our line of machines, I'd be happy to answer those
Looks
for
like
you.
there are some questions on there. Let's take a look here and see.
It's loading. It's loading. No, everybody's just saying hi.
Oh, hi.
Hi, Cindy.
Yeah,
Hi,
Cindy. Hello.
Hi, Kathy.
So if you have any questions, be happy to answer them or approach them at this point.
So we're gonna put this. We're gonna do some training videos.
We're gonna do some training videos. Put it on the website.
Put it in the certification.
It's in the $4,000 range.
Yes.
45.
We're gonna have that all like
working.
ironed out and on the website
Right.
in probably about 7 days. So you will be able to purchase this machine. If you're one of our practitioners, this will be in the affiliate program. So you can also put this on your website. And we'll have a whole bunch of information on it. It's, when you're using the larger machines, sometimes it is hard to turn your brain off. And we talk about that with the MagnaWave mats where you can lay on them, and the vibration therapy with the PMF is so beneficial because it really makes you turn your brain off so you can heal. And I think that that's kind of what this does as well.
Sure.
Can you use this at the same time?
As
could I treat my knee with the Maya and have that on my back?
Absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely.
cool.
I mean, it's just totally versatile. It does address the questions that people have about hertz and frequency and what benefits come from that. And so that this is more of a brain body type of machine, and the MagnaWave other machines are more of pain relief, inflammation reduction, that type of thing. They also certainly provide relaxation. They're certainly beneficial for many different indications, depression, wellness, the whole 9 yards. But this is just something that'll kind of fit that. And from a practitioner perspective, I can see where someone can use this for headaches. I can see where someone can use this if you're working with horses to treat the pole.
Okay.
If you've got a dog that's got a lot of anxiety, you could lay the dog on this mat and treat it at a delta to give it some relaxation to help calm it, that type of thing. So a lot of different applications how it can.
It would be
how it can
beneficial
play
to
in.
have with a larger unit.
Absolutely. I mean,
We
yes.
should do a cool little package.
Cool little package.
You should do it too. And like I said, it was so great that it was hard for me to. We actually I had to bring another one home so that I had one and Joe had one because he's very restless. And if you're restless in the middle of the night and every little sound wakes you, I recommend getting a sound machine because that's awesome. But also this as well because it's great. I mean, it really does something that's totally different. Whether you understand it as well as he does or not, it's really, really great. And some of the other things that you could use it for is at work, in the office, or, what about kids? Can kids sit on it?
Sure. We have a question as well.
Oh, okay.
But the question is, would this be a problem with Cpap machines? No, I don't see where it have any effect on a Cpap machine at all. You could certainly still use this to relax.
Yeah.
I mean, people who have CPAP machines, they need it for the breathing aspect of what they're doing, but this can help lead to the relaxation and enhance the sleep that you have as well. So I don't see any reason why there would be a...
Because a CPAP, even though there's low power PMF in there, the CPAP isn't a battery operated. It's plugged into the wall.
Right. So I don't see that as being an issue, Tracy. Great question. Any other questions?
Cindy, you probably do need that machine. Probably do. You should come try it. Come to the office.
There we go. Let's see other comments that we...
So it's really great to be able to use something a little bit different. Like I said before, on our website, the way that we're going to do this is we have a shop area. We're going to have our PMF machines, and then there's going to be a place called NeuroWave. As you see, this is the NeuroWave B2. So we're going to have another section called NeuroWave machines, which is going to have this machine, our vibration mats, one that plugs it, that's standalone, and one that plugs into the larger PMF machine. So we also have another product that we're coming out with that's gonna be really cool that we're gonna talk about in another webinar. So there's gonna be several different lower power options for you to use and really enhance what you're already doing. So that's it's great to have options. It really is, because there are a lot of low power machines on the market, and they're doing they're doing a lot of they're just more of a relaxation than a pain relief. So I mean, you can get really calm with some of the higher power machines.
Sure.
So you see that with horses. When they treat the pole, they calm down. I love, treating myself in the evenings. And when I wake up in the morning, I feel so much better. And that's just with the regular machines. So it really does help to have this. Now, tell me about treating kids.
Oh, well, I mean, certainly.
Like Carson's 7.
Oh, and
Can we calm him down?
Nothing's going to calm Carson down. When you run at 100, you run at 100.
Yeah.
But certainly you have kids that can't relax, or they have difficulty relaxing. Can this aid in their relaxation? Sure. Are we doing something that's going on that they don't need? No.
Okay.
And so certainly that, and kids get sore. Kids hurt themselves, and certainly we have times that we've treated.
Oh, they love the. I mean, my kids think it's the magic box. They love it.
Right, exactly. So pretty much any indication that you're dealing with something, and certainly the other companies that are selling very low power units are touting what they'll do. This actually delivers some power behind it, which is from my perspective very beneficial.
It's much stronger. It's 10 times stronger.
I'll give you an example of how we used this when we were first using it and
testing it. We've been testing it for a while now.
Yes, and the gentleman that helps us with some of our signage and that type of stuff hurt his back, and to the point that he couldn't hardly walk. And I went out to his store, and I get out of the car, and he's hobbling across the sidewalk going into his office. I say, "What did you do?" He said, "Well, it just happens once in a while. I got up and I did something, and I can't walk. I can't lay down. I can't do anything." And I said, "Man, Tim, you need to come to the office."
Yeah.
So he came over to the office. He said, "Will that help me?" I said, "Of course it will." So he came over to the office, treated him for 10 or 15 minutes.
With the large machine.
With the large machine.
Okay.
He got up and he said, "Oh my God, my pain level has gone from a 10 to a 5. It's not gone."
Yeah.
I said, "Fine, come back tomorrow." And he said, "All right." So he came back the next day, and he was still in very severe pain. I said, "Okay, let's do it again."
Yeah.
So we treated him again for about 15 minutes, and his pain this time went from like a 10 again down to about a 4.
Good.
So then I thought, take this back to your office.
Yes.
Put it in your chair. Sit on it, put it on this Delta or Theta, let it run all day on your back, and see. And he called me back that later the afternoon. He said, "My God, it just continued to get better
that's so cool.
throughout the day because we got the motion going
with the larger
machine, and then supported it here. And then I told him, use it, keep it going." And so he did it, and 4 or 5 days later I called him and he said, I'm good, back to normal.
So that's great for practitioners.
Sure.
I mean, you could get a machine like this as a practitioner and then turn around and rent it out to your clients.
Absolutely. You can rent it out.
Who have big issues like that where they can't be there the whole
Every day.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Come 2 or 3 times, get them going. Send them home with this for 3 or 4 days.
Yes,
you're gonna help them through that process. So, and people are doing that with the Semi. Some people have the Max machine, and then they'll use the Semi as their loaner machine to help treat the animals or the athletes or whatever the situation may be. And this is just a nice support feature for that, or it's something that someone can have at home. On their own.
Yeah, I recommend it. I recommend it.
And let's see if there's any other questions. Hey, Sandy, Nick, and other folks who are watching. Let's see here. Let me see if I've got.
I'm looking too.
You're looking? All right.
You can, feel free to ask us. I mean, you don't have to ask us about the B2 machine. I'd be happy to answer anything. The reason I wanted to highlight this machine is because as a woman, as a mom, I'm exhausted a lot. And, a lot of my aches and pains we've talked about after my C-section, how I use my machine, even breastfeeding, my higher power machine. But whenever I tried this, I was like, wow, there are a lot of women who are in the same situation. They're tired, or they need better sleep at night so that they can feel better during the day. And this is something that kind of addresses both of those issues. And still, you could get, you're still going to need those high power treatments if you have a serious injury, but this is a great thing, like we said, for all those moms who are just running, exhausted.
Right. So, and Tracy asked another question: can you use the PEMF button with all the other options, Delta, Theta, and so forth? And so, Tracy, that's a very good question. And so, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but when I turn on the Delta, the PEMF comes on. So the PEMF is always in the background.
But you can turn it off.
But you can turn it off if you want to. You can stop that, and Delta is still going. Okay. Okay, so when I turn that back on, it changes the delivery of the whole system. So the PEMF always runs in the background. It's all PEMF, but if someone wanted just to get the PEMF going, they can do that. Let me get it going here.
You paused it.
I know I did. So
there we go.
yeah, now I can start it. So you can just use the PEMF by itself.
Wow.
And if that's what you want to do. If you don't want to mess with your brain waves and that type of thing, you can put the PEMF on and go.
That's really cool.
And get you the
it's
the
really
PEMF
cool how you can like tailor it to where you are in your day and everybody's different personalities and where they that's awesome.
Sure. And so it's a benefit if you got somebody that's dealing with prostate issues.
Yeah.
Incontinence issues. It'll be a help to that. Correct. And circulation, feet circulation. What I do, and I've talked about this before, is I went to my doctor. I was having some tingling, and I thought, oh my gosh, I'm getting neuropathy, and I'm a borderline diabetic, so I don't really have diabetes as such. And I'm thinking, well, what's the deal? And she said, you're fine. Your circulation is fine. You're older.
Yeah.
You're going to have some circulation issues. And I thought, well, isn't this wonderful?
Yeah.
And so what I do though is I'll put this under my pillow.
Yeah.
And to do my shoulder and that whole thing, and I'll talk about that a little bit too. And then I'll put this at my feet.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm treating my lower legs and feet through the night, and my circulation is much better.
That's
I don't
awesome.
have any tingling or anything like that. And what I'll do there is typically is if it gets to bothering me, I'll use the high power machine, the paddle or something like that to get good circulation going. But now I'm supporting it every night.
That's awesome.
In between as I sleep. So you can treat, and you can move this. You can treat anything you want, anywhere.
Okay, so talk about what you did. You said something about.
Oh, so I've got had this thumb problem, and it hurts and aches when I go to move it, and I will treat it. I'll put it on the paddle and I'll treat it. And
with the larger machine.
With the larger machine, or I'll treat my neck. But this is something, to me, it's anatomical. It's the way I hold myself. It's the way I sit in the car. So it's always there.
Yes.
I don't care what I do. I treat it. It feels better.
But it comes back because you keep doing it.
Because I keep doing it. It's how I hold myself. Well, it translates from here to my thumb.
Correct, yeah.
Okay? And so what I've noticed, though, when I sleep on this on my back for 8 hours, okay,
you don't get it.
I don't get it.
Wow.
It controls it so much more to where I can. I mean, it's hard for me sometimes to button my trousers with my left hand, but so if I can keep it in check, it's good.
Wow,
so
that's really cool.
Yeah, so that's the kind of things that are.
It's
that
little
are going
things that those day-to-day things that this really does benefit, and I really think. This is something for practitioners. This is something to, rent out to your clients for those really hard clients who need those daily treatments. And it's something for, somebody who, if you are just suffering from exhaustion and some aches and pains and you are spending money on medications that have a huge amount of side effects, especially women. If you take an Ambien or some type of, really strong medication and you fall asleep at night, I always worry about waking up with my kids. Like, am I going to be able to get up if something happens? Like, I don't like to feel that the way I feel the next day too, because I'm always a little groggier if I take sleep medicine. So I feel like this is something that kind of negates those side effects, which is
absolutely
awesome.
Hey,
now,
Brenda, how are you doing?
Now hi Brenda. What about if somebody has a pacemaker?
Well, certainly PEMF, pulse magnetics are contraindicated when it comes to pacemakers and defibrillators and that type of thing. Now, for example, I had a doctor that said you can use, a woman has a pacemaker and she's older and she has low back problems, and the doctor said you can use PEMF on her as long as it's not directly over the pacemaker and as long as it's not over, I think it was over 750 or 800 Gauss. Okay. So and so we had to look at where we were on the more power, on our bigger devices. That's not an option because they get over. They get
way over there.
Way over that. But with a situation like this, certainly lower power, you could put it.
You would want to get cleared by your doctor.
Absolutely, you want to get cleared by a doctor. But that's the use.
And I didn't know this, but actually pacemakers are shut off by a magnet. So if somebody does pass away and they have a pacemaker, that pacemaker doesn't just stop. So they will actually put a magnet on it to stop it. So that's why it's such a contraindication, because we actually are doing a magnetic field.
But it's not a pulling magnet.
No,
but still,
we don't want to.
as a precaution,
We don't want to.
Always want to.
You don't want to mess with that.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, any other questions, folks? Put them up there. We'd be happy
I think we're almost done.
Yeah, we're getting close.
Okay. So I really need ideas for my next women's wellness webinar. What do you want me to talk about? I was going to do one on the C60 and the MagnaWave again, so we can talk about why I love those supplements, why they're on our line, why I use them, what I use them for my kids. Specifically the MagnaWave. I mean, it is necessary for all moms. So I was going to talk a little bit about that in my next webinar, but I really want your ideas. If you have an idea, put it here, message me on Facebook here on the MagnaWave PEMF corporate page. I would love to talk about something that you guys are interested in, that you really want to hear about, that has to do with our machines, or, I'm an open book. I'll go ahead and tell you anything. So ask away. Think of an idea. Go ahead and submit your ideas, and we'll be happy to talk about it. We also have 2 groups, the MagnaWave testimonials page. If you're interested in learning more and seeing people's testimonials, go to that group. They're being posted all the time. We also have the MagnaWave International Resources group, where you can search a lot of those studies and information in there. And we're constantly publishing more scientific information in there. So join one of those 2 groups if you do have questions about MagnaWave. And then if you have an idea, go ahead and message us on the page, and I'd be happy to, maybe do your idea for my next webinar. Okay. When's your next webinar?
I believe, is next Thursday marketing? I think 2 weeks. 2 weeks will be my next webinar.
Oh, okay. So next Thursday's marketing.
Correct.
So I'll have a webinar next Thursday. We'll be talking about marketing. That's for our certified practitioners in our closed certified practitioner group. So we're going to go really, really in depth with some more marketing tips and tricks. And then he will have his his men's health. Do you have an idea of what you're talking about?
We're going to be talking. I attended a meeting in Dearborn, Michigan, a couple of weeks ago, where Dr. Tony was there from Hope for Cancer. Ty Bollinger there was Truth About Cancer, and I'm going to have some of those folks on my webinar talking about different variances and how people are approaching those types of diseases with some natural natural stuff.
So you're gonna have them on for your men's health. So women, if you want to learn more about that cancer, what natural things are happening in the cancer treatment world, that's a really great webinar to watch. So,
And one of the things, quickly here before we go, that really intrigued me about this whole seminar, it was about the wellness of people suffering from cancer. It was about, helping them cope and deal from the mental standpoint, from the comfort standpoint, and how people are helping with that. And not everyone needs chemo, or not everyone does chemo, or not everyone responds to chemo. So what can be done to supplement those types of actions? And so it was really enlightening to me to attend this meeting, and we're going to be sharing some of that information with you, our viewers and friends.
Yeah, so you'll be able to tune into that. That is 2 Thursdays from now. So next Thursday's marketing webinar for our certified practitioners, and then the Thursday after that is the men's health webinar. What time do you do that at?
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock. So if you guys have any questions that we didn't get to answer today, you could go ahead and, again, message me on the corporate page, or email me at apauli@magnawavepemf.com, and we'll see you next week.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.